So in front of me, guys, we've got a shell, a can of deodorant and an empty bottle of Coca-Cola in the background. This is just a quick short video on how the Zeiss Batis lenses work with the OLED screen. So what I'm going to do is mount a camera above the screen there. That's better. Right, so we've got the shell, the can of deodorant, which is pretty much in line with the shell, very slightly behind sort of the front left hand corner, but it's probably in line with the right hand side of the sort of shiny part of the shell, and the spiky bits just sort of around that area. The Coca-Cola bottle's right behind. But as you can see on the screen of the Batis, this is the 85mm, so your depth is going to be very shallow as the further you go into your subject. So the closer you are to the subject, your depth is always going to be shallower. So I've come back 2.6 meters from the shell, and I have just focused on the area there, on the front section of the shell itself, leaving the Coca-Cola bottle pretty much out of focus. I'm just going to dial in. So we're just going to, yeah, so it's 2.6 meters exactly. Okay, and we're shooting at f1.8 at the minute. So our depth at the moment is 2 centimeters in front and behind. So you've basically got 4 centimeters worth of depth in the image. As we close down the aperture, you'll notice it starts going up. So if I take a shot at f4 now, we've got 8 centimeters worth of depth. Sorry, I'm just going to adjust the shutter speed accordingly, keep it roughly the same, and it should, yeah, start to look sharper generally all over, but still the Coca-Cola bottle is out of focus. So what we're going to do now is keep going. So we're going to go up to f8. So we're looking at 19 centimeters worth of depth now. I'm going to just slow the camera down a little bit. And we're focusing right on the front of the shell. So as I zoom in and have a quick look, sharp. The Coca-Cola is now pretty much in focus. So that's saying 19 centimeters in distance front to rear, which is about right. So if we go right up to something like f22 now, which is completely pointless really, but it allows us ultimate depth. So I'm now at a sixth of a second, f22, ISO 100. Let's take a shot. And that's actually given us some serious depth. Yeah, everything is literally in focus. But it really helps you. So if you're doing a product shoot and you actually take a ruler to that, so if we know the product is 10 centimeters deep from its front section to its rear, we can actually get the depth pretty much perfect going straight away. So let's bring the exposure down and take a shot or two apparently. Nice and sharp, yeah. Coca-Cola is slightly out, so we've got 10 centimeters worth of depth there. So it just gives you an idea. So if I bring that in there, you can see as I move over, that's sort of 10. It's probably, yeah, at least 10 centimeters depth roughly. But now if I take a shot again, but f1.8, and sort the exposure out, still focusing on right down the bottom of the front of the shell. we go. Zoom in, very sharp up front, and then very shallow in the background. So that's given us what, 4 centimeters worth of depth at f1.8. So that is what the OLED screen is for. So it gives you an accurate, in theory, an accurate depth. So at the moment we're 4 centimeters, and it's given us a reading of 2.6. So if I just move the shell back a bit, for example, right back, I've gone about another 6 inches. So it depends how well this picks this up. I don't know. It will hopefully. So 2.7, yeah, it's gone another. I've moved it back about 10 centimeters approximately. So there you go. So it's basically a meter reading. And what I will do is I'm going to get a tape measure now. I'm not going to move anything. And what it will be doing is it will be taking the reading from the sensor, so from where the sensor is on the camera, to the object. So I'm going to measure that with a tape measure and see how accurate it is. It might be within a few centimeters. I don't know. I've not really seen how accurate it is, but basically it's showing us at 4 centimeters. So that was at f1.8. As we go to f3.5, it's already at 9, 10. So that's f5. It's 12. f5.6 is 14. f6.3 is 16. As you keep going up, you can see it just increases. But if we were to move this forward, that would go back down. So if we leave that as is, actually, and if we, I don't know if I can do this, bring it in a bit closer now, you'll notice when we focus next time on the subject. So this is still at f22. I'm not going to change anything. So we're at the lens is shut right down. What I'm going to do now is get a focus reading. So we're 1.7 meters now. 1.7 meters. 1.6 actually, and you've noticed the depth of field is now reduced due to us being closer to the subject. So it's a really handy tool. I've used it many times for doing products. At the moment I haven't got anything to really put in as a product, so I just grabbed a shell and a couple of cans just to sort of demonstrate what it can do and how much depth in stuff you can actually create. So depending on what you're photographing, how big it is and everything like that, it depends how much depth you need. And what it does is it saves you time. So before, you take one shot, adjust your aperture, take another shot, adjust your aperture, third, fourth, fifth, until you've got everything in focus that you want in focus and everything out of focus that you want out of focus. So it could take you 10, 12 shots sometimes, where now, in theory, you could probably do it in one or two or three, just to make sure that it's right. So it saves you a lot of time. So it's actually a really beneficial tool and part of the lens. Also, these lenses are weather sealed as well, so you can use it in heavy rain and it doesn't really care. So that's it at the moment, guys. And keep watching, please subscribe, and see you soon with another video.